right, back to the true triple. Not that I have anything against the Can-Am triple, but it just doesn't sound as angry as this guy does. That's all. Oh man, feet are way back here. Way back here. Every time I get on this thing, I just say to myself, nope, not time to sell it. Every time. I've been on this thing for 3 minutes. And, yeah, it's not the time to sell this thing. Oh, this thing feels so great. I haven't ridden this thing in probably, wow, 6 months, 7 months? No, not that long. After the cold season went away, I think I did ride for, I think I rode it once. I still got half a tank. I think I filled it up in, so yeah. Oh, I tell you, I was telling a guy at work, I said, every time I jump on this thing, I do not want to sell it. Every time it sits in the garage and doesn't get ridden, I think I don't need it. And I kind of don't need it. But geez, this thing feels good. But it does need a home where somebody will ride it, because I just don't ride it enough. I need to start riding again. I mean, I got that Can-Am Spyder for the main reason because I don't really ride anything. I don't ride this enough, and I do enjoy being out in the open. There's nothing like it. But yeah, God, yeah, I'll see how many times I ride it to work next week, because I don't ride it enough to keep the oil circulated, you know what I mean? It just seems like it just seems that way. Oh man, that was a granny turn, I tell you. I told you, too long, man, too long. Like you forget how to ride, forget the subtle nuances, and the Spyder is no replacement for an actual motorcycle. I tell you guys that right now. If you can feel comfortable enough on this, if you can stick to it and get past the fear and improve your skill level, very, very rewarding to ride a motorcycle. Just is. Oh, look at that. Thank you, dipshit. Just leave grass all over the road so I can eat shit. Yep, this is just a quick little loop. I go to the outskirts of Dexter, then go the back way to Chelsea, go through Chelsea, and back home. Pebbles and rocks in the street, man. Watch it. Oh man, nothing like the Can-Am, I tell you. Just the raw power. And it's not even in sport mode or track mode. It's in, I think I'm in road mode, so a little more lazy map, I guess, for the throttle. Yep, I need to ride with some guys and get me back into this the mode. What's this guy doing up here? Shifting is so smooth. On a bright note, or brighter note, I got a phone call from my local gun store and said my paperwork is back. Okay, are you in a big hurry, dude? Because I do not want to hit you. Such a nice sound. Ah, I love that crackle. The crackle. The crackle and the drone sounds so bad. Sounds so much better than the Can-Am. Hate to say it, but it does. It just sounds better. I mean, what are you gonna do? You could fit two at a time. Come on, people. Your vehicles aren't that wide. They are not. It's not a one at a time thing, Jesus. Just go. It is so not. So smooth. You even feel it go into third. So smooth. Long way or short way to Chelsea? I like the short way, but the longer way is longer. There's got to be something got to be said for that, right? Oh, so guttural. Just can't explain it. I remember when I drove when I rode the Bobber, that had some get up to it. Nothing like this, but it had a good amount of get up and had some nice low end torque. It didn't put you back to the seat. Didn't put you back in the seat like this does, but it felt really nice. Man, if I can keep this, I should have bought a Bobber instead of the Can-Am. But I don't know. Would I have ridden that as much? I don't know. I don't know. I might have ridden it more than I ride this, because that just felt, the Bobber just felt so me. I mean, I sat low in the seat. My feet weren't bent back like they are now, and it was just a nice ride. It's a comfortable ride. And the Can-Am, I could probably push those pegs out maybe one more for the legs, you know, but the handlebars are just right, but the feet seem a little crowded. But as you know, my wife wants to ride it too. She's only 5'1", and if you saw her Instagram or mine, you saw her on it, and her feet were almost all the way extended to reach the pedal, so to reach the peg. So the Can-Am, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens to that. I mean, I do enjoy it, but this is just this is something else. Oh, I didn't turn on my Senna, so if anybody tried to call me, wouldn't be able to. Shifting is so smooth. So ridiculous. Ridiculously smooth. I felt that slipper clutch. because I wasn't really didn't really let out on the clutch all the way. It's kind of easing into it, and then finally to grab, and because I was a little in the throttle, I felt the slipper clutch slip just a little bit, so I didn't have any wheel slippage there. Yeah, definitely gonna have to ride to work more often with this while I can, because it'll be the winter soon, and that just spells disaster. Winter means move all the water from your sprinklers, shit ton of leaves to clean up bi-weekly or weekly or every few days, depends on how crazy you are or fanatical you are about having a clean yard. I am not that fanatical. And then you have to go try to use some of this gas out of here and go put some what they call it, was it maintenance fuel or service fuel, or the stuff you use for your lawnmower and other stuff. That way you don't get the ethanol in it. Then it doesn't matter if it sits for 5 months while winter has its time. And I think even on cold days, or not so cold days, because it's funny, in the winter you get snow, of course, and you get low temperatures, but every once in a while it'll pop up and be a 40-degree day or a 45-degree day in the middle of winter, and you're like, what the hell? Sun's out, roads dry, it's just snow everywhere. You know, the roads are cleared off and the sun has melted the snow and the roads are dry. It's really nice. Now that'll be the time for the Can-Am. So maybe I don't have to change the fuel in that. I could just ride it every once in a while in the winter on a dry day, and it'll be fine. Oh man, I remember I used to ride this more and it just felt slow. It felt like, okay, I'm over it. It's not that fast a bike, which it isn't. I mean, you compare it with all the other bikes with the same size engine, or basically same size engine, who are more upright. There are faster bikes out there with more a little bit more horsepower. I think I got 130, 135, but you know, this is what, 4 years old now, and there are bikes out there with 200. I think the average bike's around 150 for being a a leader bike, and so I mean, I just got used to this, and it didn't seem that fast anymore. And then I got on the Can-Am a couple months ago now. I've had it about 2 months. Wait, 10, yeah, ish. And what was I gonna say? Oh, I just think today I'm in September. I thought my temporary tag expired on the 10th of this month. It expires on the 10th of next month, so I still have time to get to the SOS. Out here they call it the SOS. Back home it's the DMV. I hear it's the Secretary of State. They're the ones that are responsible for registration and titles and stuff like that. So yeah, but because of COVID, they're just jammed. There's no more walk-ins, so everything's by appointment only, and they have appointments all the way up until January. I mean, they're booked all the way up until January. I think January 5th is one of the first dates that opens up. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I kind of don't want to ride through town because it's busy and it's a lot of stop and go. So, well, I don't know. We'll see. Because there's another way I can go. Past this huge cemetery they have out here. Usually the cemeteries out here are pretty small. All right, Trump supporter. Usually they're pretty small, and it's, you know, like just small. You walk by, you drive by, and you go, huh, that's a tiny cemetery. This one's pretty freaking big, and I don't know why it's so huge. Well, it's not huge. It's not Forest Lawn size. Don't get me wrong. But it's just for compared to all the other cemeteries I've seen around, which some of them are like, seems like they're in people's backyards or right next door, which is the weirdest thing. But well, let's go see it. Let's go see the old cemetery. So if I would have went straight, I would have been right for downtown. This is like a couple of, I don't know what, maybe a mile over from downtown. Road runs the same direction, just the speed limit's twice as much. It's about 40, over there it's 20, 25. And it's not uncommon to see sheriffs just sitting there going, look, you're doing 31. Okay, you get a ticket, you get a ticket. Well, and here we go. And then we're back into the 25. So I was a little mistaken. But I don't have stop and go. Parking lot, but I don't know what that is. Need to find a good sized parking lot. Let my wife ride the Can-Am and kind of get used to it and see if the reach for her is too much. If it is, then I don't know. She might just be SOL. Because if I make them any shorter for me, it's almost like riding a sport bike, and my knees do not like that. Except for right now, it's not really causing any issues. My knees have been actually working out pretty good. My right one is the one that was giving me all the fits, but yeah, it seems not bad at all. You know, it's been a while since I've ridden this, because I haven't done that in a long time. There you go, second gear. So this is the cemetery. I mean, you may say, yeah, it's not so big, but compared to the cemeteries out here, this thing is enormous. I mean, you got it over here too, so, you know, a lot of nice headstones. And this would have been the back way I took to get to the same place. Whoop. I gotta spend some time in the old parking lot and get used to going slow, because I tell you, it's not easy for me right now. It's like you just don't trust it. You just feel like, oh, I'm leaning, the bike's gonna fall over. No, you're doing 10 miles an hour, the bike is not gonna fall over. It just feels that way. And the worst thing you can do is stop, because I've done that too. I've got to a condition where I was trying to make a U-turn, which it's on there, it's on the YouTubes, and I was trying to make a U-turn uphill. So of course when I turned, I was turning, my U-turn was going to the right, or to the left I mean, it all the weight transferred, right? So I'm turning, and I leaned like a good little boy. I leaned, and hey squirrel, you trying to get killed? Trying to kill me? And so anyway, I leaned, and I had it in first gear, feathered the clutch, or I didn't. I slowed down, turned, and felt like I was going way too fast, so I panicked and I hit the brakes. And as soon as I hit the brakes, all the weight of the bike, which is kind of, seems like it's kind of top heavy anyway, all the weight of the bike just came on, you know, came on to me, and I landed on the handlebar, and that was it. The handlebar and the case got scratched. So I replaced the end pieces here on the handlebar. I went from black to red now, and I threw some magic marker. I threw some magic marker down, on the scratch, and you could never see it. Never see it. Unless you know what you're looking for. But except for that, this bike has 4,400 miles, and it's easy ridden miles, you know what I mean? I haven't had anybody even ride this who rides hard, so it's just been easy miles. I mean, I didn't think it at the time, but this is a lot of bike for me. And of course, you know, at the time you're like, I can do that, I can do that. As a matter of fact, the dealership I bought it from is like, this is your first bike, you should not get this bike. I'm like, well, you know, I got the money, I got the cash, I want the bike, I did my research. I understand that there's an inherent amount of danger in motorcycle riding, and even more when you buy a bike over your skill level. But I don't plan on driving over my level, over my skill level. I don't plan on dying on this thing. It's not a death wish. And the guy went back and forth with me. I talked to the sales manager, then I talked to the general manager, and they sat me down because the price I wanted was lower than what they were quoting me. And the guy said he can give me a good deal. He said he's going to go talk to his manager, and he came back and the price was maybe $300 less than originally started. And I was like, that's not a good deal, dude. I mean, I can go somewhere else and buy this bike. I appreciate you guys care, you know, not to sell a bike that somebody's going to kill themselves, but I want the bike. I just don't want to pay this much money. I'm not effing with you guys. I'll get you a cashier's check in a day and you'll be done. So either you want to sell it or you don't. And the guy's like, okay, let me go get my manager. Manager came out, did the same thing. You realize this is a high horsepower bike, this is blah 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 blah. Yeah, I got it. And I sat in the room with the general manager, and he went over everything. And then he said, okay, well, it seems like you're you know, dead set on this. You've done your research like you said. Let me give you an offer. And he slid an offer across the table. I looked at it. I said, okay, give me a few moments, let me think about this. I walked out in the other room, looked at the bike again, and came back and said, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. I said, I'll have a cashier's check for you in a day. He's like, all right. And the rest is, as they say, history. The bike wasn't ready when they said it was going to be ready, but that's fine. I had to wait another, I don't know, week or so, and then they got the bike ready and brought it over to my house. There's a video of that too. And yeah. And at the time I had the bike, I didn't even have my motorcycle license yet. Hadn't even taken my class. My class was still about a week out. So I'm sitting there looking at this thing, going, man, I can't wait to ride this, but I'm terrified. I can't wait, but I'm terrified. And took my class. I forget what, MSS, MQ, whatever it is, motorcycle class. Lasted a weekend, and got my license. And first ride I rode at night because there wasn't very much traffic. There was hardly any traffic at night. You know, back where I was living in LA, at the area I was living. So I just rode around, tippy-toed around town, left it in rain mode for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or more, riding it around. And I would just come home and ride it. Next day, go to work, come home, ride it, you know, and that's what I did. Then I started riding with groups, friends that I, you know, found on this one app. I forget what it's called, but yeah, got to meet a lot of nice people, a lot of cool people. Oh yeah, when I when I dropped it making a U-turn on this hill, I didn't say I hit the brakes, but I hit the front brake. So that just immediately, the front end dipped down, sprung up, and thing fell over. So that was it. Now I might have been a lot better off if I hit the rear brake, but either way, the way I was performing that that turn, I was going down one way or another.